Hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Horizons. Again, it's day 2. I'm here at Amazon Port in their beautiful podcast studio, calling in from Cannes. And I am Laura Meyer, founder and CEO of Envision Horizons. And today I have my other half in business as our VP of Growth. Todd, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, wonderful to be in Cannes.
Can or con? It's always the debate.
We can call it whatever we like. We'll call it Cannes today. I'm VP of Growth at Envision Horizons, so I lead up marketing, paid media, strategies, initiatives, etc. And so excited to talk through everything we've seen today in the past week at Cannes.
Yeah, I just feel like it's been information overload. A lot of really cool developments, a lot of really cool and creative campaigns. One of the award winners was Spotify, and they actually built an entire music video in Excel.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So anyways, something to maybe Google for, but that was something where I was like, that, I would never think of that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And a lot of things that we can bring up that we brought to the stage today or this week at Cannes, and one of those is the Vacation STV activation. So do you want to kind of overview what that was and
yes,
you can speak to it a little bit? So
the amazing marketing team at Amazon was willing to listen to some of our crazy ideas.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. We were able to work with our client Vacation to build this full funnel approach. Vacation, for those who aren't familiar, is this emerging nostalgic sunscreen brand. And this year is a huge year of growth for them. They have launched a ton of new products, and the team and myself, we're all trying to figure out, okay, how do we hold true to the brand story while bringing in tanning oils, face products, so much new innovation, and holding true to the core of the brand.
Yeah.
And so there, just to plug it, we'll put a link in the show notes, but we were able to build this full funnel approach where we're able to start with this very fun video where Vacation had collaborated with Arizona Tea, also a very nostalgic brand.
Yes.
And they did these chapsticks with Vacation or Arizona flavors and scents, and really build that to do a storyline of catching people's attention, being a talking point, and then having everything match down to the STV and the product detail page, and getting those customers to get across the finish line. I'm not as articulate on day 2. What's happening?
Well, and I think this is an important theme that we saw at the whole week is, we ended up growing Vacation sunscreen sales 201% year over year. And that didn't just come from the streaming TV ad itself, but that was a large component of funneling those shoppers into the buying journey, which Amazon's done a very good job of doing, being able to leverage those upper funnel strategies like streaming TV, very cool branding, very cool ads, and then capture the consumer, send them through the funnel, through the various touch points to then get the purchase. And so all of that's together now. And I think what was really cool with Vacation is we started with a smaller budget and tested this through sponsored brand videos. So you can start small, and for anyone listening, if you have assets, you don't have to go on Prime TV and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can test your sponsored brand videos, see how those perform, and then utilize that for more upper funnel tactics.
Yeah, and I feel like that's actually a really good segue into some of the amazing developments that we got a little sneak peek on earlier this week, which is all of these amazing Gen AI tools and creative tools that Amazon is producing. In the infancy of Amazon ads, it was sponsored product ads, and it was just your main image. And now Amazon is becoming such a brand building opportunity for brands.
Yeah.
And creative is that bottleneck.
It is.
So what were some of your initial thoughts to what Amazon is doing for the creative support, whether that's for the brands and the agencies involved?
Before we go specific into that, I think you touched on Gen AI, which is, we had a nice side meeting on that topic, and I think there's a lot of important growth areas there. So I think from my experience, and I think a lot of other brands and probably sellers that have used generative AI, there can be some, not satisfaction with the results at this point in the development of generative AI. Multiple fingers on the hand or some weird smiles.
Or missing fingers.
Yeah. Missing fingers. And that's okay, because that capability to just put a prompt in and have something show up is absolutely amazing. So the development of Gen AI is phenomenal. It needs to get to the point where brands that we work with, which we had this discussion, prestige or premium beauty brands, can actually put a prompt in and get something that's usable. Otherwise, it's worthless. Let's be frank. And so, to me, that was a very important meeting we had and discussion, that generative AI is continuing to get better, but it's allowing brands to not only control the output a little bit. So if there is that finger that's extra, you can remove it, or if the text is wrong, you can change it. But the inputs are also going to change. So you had brought up a question or a point about a brand guide.
Yeah, so, in the meeting.
Yeah, if we can have a brand guide that's uploaded to the generative AI dashboard, and those inputs can be considered, the output will be better. So to me, that was very exciting. There's nothing definitive there, so there's sort of a sneak peek of what might be to come. But I thought that was very interesting.
It certainly is. And I also feel like people are being really tough on Gen AI. It is in its infancy. Yeah. Nothing is perfect right out of the gate. And I made the analogy yesterday, like Gen AI is like the intern right now. There's such potential, but AI needs to learn. It needs to be trained. Yeah. And what I think is so exciting is to see the progression of it. And maybe when we're here next year, we're going to say, actually, this is saving us so much time. Now we're able to do a lot more split testing, because for the same amount of work to create one piece of creative, now we have 10 or 20 pieces of creative. Yeah. And we can really start to get more dynamic in the creative use within media.
For sure. Yeah. And not to mention, this wasn't announced at this festival, but Canva Connect, which Cohen announced a couple weeks ago, which is going to be phenomenal too, just to connect Canva into the creative flow, which we know we use sometimes. So having all of these capabilities in one place is just a huge step forward, to your point about having that creative arm to drive sales and performance.
Yes. And I think the big advantage of Canva, as we were discussing with some creative directors yesterday, is that's a great tool once you have templates. But there still is that piece of using Figma or Photoshop and creating something from scratch. But then it's about the iteration and the optimization that Gen AI can support you on even.
Yeah. So I think this might be a good point we were discussing prior about the move into performance through cookieless future.
Yes. So, I know you nerd out over these things. So Todd, I want to hear your point of view here.
Well, I mean, Amazon announced it. I don't know exactly when it was, but the Ad Relevance tool. So this is Amazon's step into the cookieless future. So as we all know, Amazon has a ton of first-party data that allows shopper insights to be leveraged to drive performance.
Which we love.
Which is amazing. And so where I'm trying to still understand, this new tool is or new feature is called Ad Relevance, which allows brands to tap into those shoppers' insights. But I don't know if it's just a name for their first-party data, if there's more on top of it than that. I think Amazon is going the right step by stating, hey, we have a very relevant audience, and not only that, we're using AI instead of cookies to track performance. So cookies going away on Google and elsewhere, Amazon has data, now they're calling it Ad Relevance, and they're starting to tap into other audience insights. And one of the biggest announcements that came from the festival was Omnicom, which connected with Amazon, is they're connecting their linear TV shopping habits and data from their system, plugging into Amazon's data. So now you can have that linear connection into the streaming all the way down to the sponsored products. And that's all without a cookie. Mm-hmm. So that's a fascinating step into the future as we look at Google, who's already started this year. 1% of their audience is already cookieless. So they're testing this, it's in beta. They're trying to figure out how to proceed forward, without that one identifier for privacy reasons and for goods concern. And as we're in Europe, we understand that that's sort of already been away with. Amazon announced, it was a few months ago, Performance Plus, which, if anyone's familiar with the Google ecosystem, there's Performance Max, which Performance Max is an AI ad performance campaign, which basically you set what your budget is, what you want to achieve, and then AI does everything. And I think both you and I know from the early days of Amazon, where there's like automatic targeting and there's some other stuff that wasn't quite machine learning or advanced learning AI type products, those didn't perform so well. You sort of set and forget it, and then it didn't do what you wanted. Performance Max from the Google side has gotten much better and is able to do a lot of things based on AI learnings from shoppers and from browsers and browsing insights. And Amazon Performance Plus, a very similar name, a few months ago released that for DSP, which is essentially doing the same thing. And so where we're going is to a place where advertisers can simply describe what they want to happen, which let's get new shoppers at this conversion rate, or we want an LTV of this, put in those inputs, and the AI does the rest. And I know that's scary probably for a lot of people to just be hands off, but I think really that's where we're going, because these AI systems are going to get much smarter in understanding the whole ecosystem than our little marketer brains can pull some levers and try to make it happen. So that's exciting for me.
And what I think is also exciting about that is because it's Amazon's tool, like Amazon knows their ad serving algorithm.
Yes.
They know so much more data than what you and I could possibly try and guess and hypothesize.
Yeah.
And I'll also be curious to see what happens in the ad tech space in general, because so much of it has been like very rule-based algorithms. And machine learning has been a buzzword even since you and I got started in the early days. Yeah. But now I feel like we're finally coming into like the true infancy of what it can do.
100%, yeah. And I know we didn't touch on this at the beginning, but I did want to touch on the broader, some announcements that we saw, which like Instacart bringing their ads to YouTube, which I thought was really
I missed
cool.
that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
shoppable Instacart ads on YouTube. And so what we're seeing is every retailer and some of the content publishers are becoming media sources now. So YouTube wants to obviously, take a part of this, and Instacart's a great way to do it. Just showcase those ads and allow the shoppers to purchase their groceries right on YouTube. And then the other one was Reddit. So Reddit is now, myself, I love Reddit. I'm not an avid user, but you want to find the truth, you go to Reddit. You type in a question like, who's the best Amazon marketing agency? And there's a lot of credence to those results because it's a forum of people that you think are giving their unbiased opinion. Well, Reddit, since they went public, now has to monetize.
Yep.
And
they've never made money.
and they, instead of just having the advertisements on the post, they're going to have them in the comment sections. So, anybody that's trying to leverage that credibility in Reddit can now do so. So that's just a broader, I think, development in the ecosystem of where advertising is going, and as more retail media networks pop up and realize they can monetize their data.
Yeah. Well, I think just in general, everyone's trying to figure out how they can be in the ad tech game.
Yeah.
And Amazon really paved the way as a huge retailer who built a phenomenal ad tech platform. And I feel like every month you read about a new retailer trying to come to the market.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be challenging whether they're using a plug-in tool from a third-party tech platform or they're trying to build the tech from scratch.
Yeah.
Amazon is just so massive. And I think something that we come across with our clients too is they're like, oh, well, Ulta or, buying Instacart, Sephora ads. There is still a lot of work that goes into it. And we're still at the point where Amazon, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But I'll be curious to see if there's more consolidation in the market too. Like, it's all very exciting now,
Yeah.
but unless you're a super large brand with massive resources, setting it up, you get a little pulled in many directions.
Yeah,
and I think it's so important for marketers to really zero in on what is worth the effort and where are your customers shopping at scale.
Yeah. Anecdotally, I was talking to someone yesterday who has like a store, a retail store, and they also have products that are in a bunch of retail stores, and they have 40 different retail media networks that they
Too
manage.
much. Way too much.
There is absolutely no way you're gonna do that at scale efficiently and see performance. So, the best thing there is to see either use a platform that consolidates those, or dwindle down what's not working, because that's just too much to manage, from my opinion.
Yeah. So to close it out, I want to hear, this was your first Cannes Lions. What is your thought? Are we coming back next year?
I think we absolutely have to come back. I think one thing we didn't touch on, which kind of plays into this, is Amazon's continued push into the entertainment canvas, if we can use that word that's been thrown around by Amazon. The entertainment canvas, or Amazon's canvas in general, which spans from live sports to Prime Video to now streaming TV. Like, all of this is going to continue to evolve as Amazon realizes, one, the potential of capturing those shoppers and then bring them into the ecosystem. So I think we didn't touch too much on that, but I do think the creativeness that Cannes brings to the ecosystem, the advertising ecosystem, I'd love to see it. And I wasn't here in years past, but I heard, 20 years ago, it was more of just a creative event. And today, a lot of the ad tech and big tech companies are here, and you can see it on the beach. I think that's amazing, and I think we almost might see an evolution back to the creativity, because that's the type of performance marketing that's going to actually drive sales.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
No, I tend to agree. I think many trends in business and in life come full circle.
Yeah.
And what I personally think is really cool with some of the tech that's come out with Amazon Entertainment is shows being shoppable too.
Yes.
One of the reasons why I always loved Prime Video was the IMDb plugin, and I could look up the actors and I go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And now you can go down the rabbit hole of, this actor is wearing this outfit that you can actually just buy on Amazon.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's so dangerous, but I'm also here for it as a marketer.
Yeah, and I think the other few things, like John Legend was here. He did a live shopping show. We had Gwyneth Paltrow with Goop.
Brooklyn Beckham,
the CPG founder with Guy Raz, talking about creativity in advertising. So I think that's what it's supposed to be here, but that was really the theme that was honed in on from my experience.
Yeah, we gotta get those creative juices flowing.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Well, we've had a great week.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening to this episode.
Thank you.